Hey guys, and welcome to Cleaning Up History, where my goal is preservation of headstones and cemeteries and telling forgotten stories of the past. Today's video don't need a warning. I don't think I have any violence or adult content in this one, so it's safe for all ages. I am, however, working currently on one of the strangest, worst murder stories I've come across doing this research, and I will have a video on that in the next couple of days. I've still got a little bit of research to do on it. But today's video is going to be about the city of LaFollette and the history behind the man the city is named for. Most of you guys know that when I do research, I'm not just satisfied with names, dates, places, and facts. I also want to know what kind of person the individual I'm researching was, what he did, how he treated people, things like that. So, with that being said, the history of LaFollette. Harvey Marion LaFollette was born in 1858 in Wisconsin. He was the son of Harvey Marion LaFollette Sr. And when Harvey was very young, they moved from Wisconsin to Indiana. And tragically, in 1865, when Harvey was around 7 years old, Harvey Sr. was killed in an accident on a mill. And so he lost his father at a very early age. Now, I found a scanned document on Ancestry.com talking about the history of Harvey, and I'm not sure exactly where the original where the document came from. It looks like it's a scan out of a book, but I'm not sure where it came from. The source isn't referenced. But in this scan I found, it talks about Harvey's early history and how that when he was young, he was sickly, and this caused him to drop out of school several times because of his health. And Harvey really wanted an education, and he spent a lot of time in the library reading, and one of the things that he wanted more than anything was to get an education in France, where his ancestors came from. And at this point, the LaFollette family had been in the United States for many generations, so they didn't actually have any close family members still in France that, they could send Harvey to live with or anything like that. But when Harvey got old enough, he made a way, and he actually did. I found his passport application from 1877. He managed to go to France to get his education, and he traveled. He traveled to many places, and in this one article, this one thing, one little detail just irritates me so bad. In this article about his early life, it talks about him getting his education and traveling, and that he went to Germany, and he went to all these places, and most of the places he was traveling by foot, and he was staying with peasants. Who says that? But anyway, he stayed with peasants while getting his education. And he returned very well educated. He could speak multiple languages. And my assumption from looking at his actions early on is that his goal and his intent was to help others get an education. Because he came back and he became an educator. He was working with the school systems, and I think at one point he became superintendent. He spent many years doing this, and then for some reason, around 1893, he came through Tennessee through Big Creek Gap. Big Creek Gap was what LaFollette now is. And back then they had a population of somewhere around 300 people. And Harvey saw the potential in the area with all the natural resources. He saw the potential to make money, and the potential that the area had, the beauty that the area had, and so along with the Warner family, Evan Warner, he set up a company, and Evan was his treasurer and secretary. And Harvey built a railroad extending out to the Vasper area, and this created a means to transport the coal and other resources out of the area. This was the big step in creating the town of LaFollette. It was this little portion of the railroad, and Harvey did that. And by 1897, the new town was established, and it was voted to name the town after Harvey. And Harvey's company went on to employ over 1,500 people. People were coming from all over for work because there were so many jobs available in the blast furnaces and the coke ovens and the coal mines that the LaFollette company owned. And it said that, these companies paid fair wages and they treated their employees fair, and that there actually wasn't ever any strikes in any of the mines that the LaFollettes owned, which is saying a lot. And from there, the whole town just boomed. Cafes popped up, a lot of taverns popped up. At one point, there was an opera house. The town grew quickly. It was a big town. It went from a population of 300 to over 1,500. And this is all credited to Harvey because of his vision and his building of the railroad and creating these companies, the mines and the blast furnace and the coke ovens. And so all this happened, and around 1898, Harvey married Evan Warner's daughter, Catherine. And in 1899, their son was born. They named him Marion Warner LaFollette. He was named Marion. It was a name that was passed down through the LaFollette men for many generations. Harvey Marion and Harvey Marion Sr., and it went on down the line a couple of times. And then his middle name was Warner after his mother's middle name, and then his name was LaFollette, Marion Warner LaFollette. And things seemed to be going really well in 1900. Between 1900 and 1901, Harvey had the Glen Oaks property built, which is what most of us know as the LaFollette House. And look at that today. That's what it looks like today. And things looked like they were going real well. In 1900, Evan Warner passed away, and found a newspaper article that came out in 1908 that was talking about how Mrs. LaFollette was preparing her Christmas cards and how beautiful her cards were, and how lucky anyone was to receive a card from Mrs. LaFollette. And things seemed to be going really well for the LaFollette family. I do want to back up a little bit because I skipped a little part in 1898. In 1898, Harvey went to New York on business, where he was arrested for the charges of fraud. And it said that he had been selling second mortgages as first mortgages. I just wanted to put that little tidbit in there. Then we'll go back. 1908, Christmas cards were being sent out. And then in 1913, I came across a newspaper article that stated that Harvey LaFollette was granted a divorce for grounds of abandonment, that his wife had abandoned him. And I guess she had went to Honolulu to live with her mother. Her mother, I guess, moved to Honolulu after her husband's death. And then I found another article of some more fraud accusations against Mr. LaFollette. I think these were actually in Tennessee. Indiana or Tennessee. I think it was in Tennessee. And then around 1913, the same time period as the divorce, and I'm not judging anybody for a divorce at all, so don't think that's where I'm heading. But around that same time frame, I found an article talking about where some of LaFollette's companies were being dissolved. It left some people unemployed, and it was near Christmas time. So in 1913, some of the local churches in the community were helping unemployed families buy gifts for their children for Christmas and to buy food and things like that. And then Harvey passed away in 1929. So if it hadn't been for Mr. LaFollette and his vision for this area and his knowledge of all the natural resources and what he could make out of it, a lot of us wouldn't be here. I had around 3 different ancestors, 3 different lines that came to this area to work in the coke ovens, or the blast furnace, or the coal mines that were here because of Mr. LaFollette. And if all that hadn't happened, then this whole area would have been completely different than what it is today. But one of the things that really bothers me about what Harvey may have been like is the fact that his son in 1918 petitioned the court to change his name from LaFollette to Cooper. He didn't want to be associated with his father's name anymore. And he changed his last name to the same last name as his stepfather. That one makes me question a little bit what actually was going on in the LaFollette household, and why his son disassociated with him completely. What do you guys think? So that's the story I have on Harvey LaFollette and the city of LaFollette, or the town of LaFollette, and the history behind the name. And like I said, I have a very horrible story that I'm researching right now. I should have it ready in a couple of days, so you're not going to want to miss this story that I've got coming up. And as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate all the likes, comments, views, and shares. If you like my videos, please share them with your friends on Facebook or whatever platform you may be using. And if you've not already, hit the subscribe button down below, and if you hit the little bell, you'll be notified anytime I upload any new videos. That way, when I upload this next video coming up, you'll know that I've uploaded it, because you're not going to want to miss that if you like my murder stories. So that's all I've got for today, and thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.